In a previous video, I created an EC2 instance. In this video, I'm going to back up that instance using AWS Backup. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm already in the AWS Backup Service portal here, and I'm in the Oregon region where my instance is located. So the first thing you want to do, create a backup plan. So let's do that. And I'm going to use the template just so we can speed things up. And I'm going to use the template I already created. But we're going to go through all the settings here so you can see what it looks like. And we'll call it Backup Plan 1. And let's add a backup rule here. We'll call it, let's call it weekly. And you can specify different vaults. I'm just going to use the default vault here. You could create your own. This air gap vault, this is a vault that does not have access to the internet. So if you have like highly classified or highly sensitive information, you might want to use that option there. Backup frequency, we're going to do weekly, and we'll do it on Saturdays. Backup window, I am in Central Time. So let's see, where's Chicago at? Here we go. All right, so Chicago, and I'm going to back it up at 12:30 a.m. Oh, another thing to point out too is that a lot of people, they shut their instances down at night so they could save money. This backup will work whether the instance is running or not, so which is a nice feature to have. Start within 8 hours. Let's do start within 1 hour. Completion within 7 days is not good. Let's say 10 hours. One-time recovery. I don't want to do this. It's going to be very expensive. This is where you can go back and do a restore within a very short time frame. So if I enable this, it's going to create a whole bunch of backups. My storage cost is going to go up, so I'm going to leave this alone. Now, cold storage is nice because this will help you save money on your storage costs. For retention period, I'm just going to leave it 2 days because this is just a test. Backup indexes, I'm going to leave that alone. Copy to destination. I'm not going to set this, but you can have it set to copy, because if you have the production instance and your backups in the same region, that region goes out, then you're kind of screwed. So you could set this to Virginia if you want to. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. And I'm not going to set any tags on here, so I'm going to add the backup rule. And then for advanced settings, you can turn on Windows VSS. Now, there are some prerequisites. I'll click on this real quick so you can see this page. The prerequisites to have VSS running, you have to have the SSM agent set up in Systems Manager. Then you also have to download and install the VSS components for Windows servers, your EC2 instance. And then you have to have the correct IAM policy. Let's go back to the backup here. I'm going to leave that turned off. And then when you're backing up S3 resources, you can choose to back up access control list. We're not backing up S3 resources, so this doesn't really affect us. So I'm going to go ahead and create the plan. And our plan was created. Now, I already created another backup plan, so we can just go back to backup plans here, and we can look at the one I previously created. And it does have some backups in here. So if we go to this one, which is today, and it says it completed successfully. Now, to restore a backup, what we need to do is go into protected resources right here. And you'll see this is the instance that I created in a previous video. This is the one we're backing up. So I'm going to click on this link here. And you can choose which backup you want to restore from. So I'll just do the latest one, which is this one right here. And I'll hit restore. Actually, I'm not going to do restore because this is going to take forever. I am going to go back to EC2 instances. And you'll see that after the restore, it creates another EC2 instance. So both of these are running. The way I can tell that this one right here is the new server is that it didn't create a public IP address. So it's something to be aware of when you're doing a restore. You might want to shut down the production server first so there's not this type of confusion going on. So it did do the restore. It restored it. It restored the instance type that I had. It restored the entire volume that I had. If you had multiple volumes, it would have restored those as well. That's just a quick overview on how to use AWS Backup. I didn't go into a lot of detail, but you can go in here and there's some other settings in here, like malware protection. We didn't set up, so you can actually scan your backups for malware, which is really nice. And then there's a new feature here, restore testing. So that's a nice feature too, because you can test the backup plan without disrupting or screwing up your production environment. Then you can also back up external resources like on-prem VMware hypervisors. Right now, it only supports VMware, and then you can back up individual virtual machines. Of course, you have to add the hypervisor to do that. All right, so that is how you back up an EC2 instance and how to restore an EC2 instance using AWS Backup. I hope that was helpful. If it was, please give me a like and subscribe at the bottom. I would appreciate it. I'm going to try to continue pushing out these short, less than 10-minute videos, focus solely on people that are new to AWS and sysadmins.